we all know that I created this channel for my own mental well-being and mental health. Well, I've never actually really detailed the journey that I took towards where I am now in terms of my mental health. So I have anxiety and depression, but I also deal with almost constant background suicidal ideation. And people freak out when I tell them that, it just never goes away. It never does. It's something that I live with daily. But it's also something that I've worked really, really hard to not let affect me. My recovery journey came to a bit of a crux in 2014, I think. Jude, Mrs. Wiz, my beautiful wife, came to me and said, Spence, something has got to give. I need you to do something. I was already in therapy, I was taking medication, and it wasn't cutting it. But I'll be damned if I affect the ones that I love the most. She came to me, it really made me recognise that I was not only affecting myself, but I was affecting the people around me. And that was the kick up the arse that I needed to get more significant support at that time. So I went to an inpatient unit. It was a voluntary unit, an 8-week program. I liken it to mental health TAFE. It's different from the traditional inpatient unit. It was not a high dependency unit. It was a subacute unit. So it was for people that were able to guarantee their own safety. I could take my razor there, I could take whatever I wanted there. People even brought their own computers. At that time, I brought my skateboard and a suitcase. I will say, I've done some hard shit in my life, but walking away from my family for 8 weeks was like hell. My biggest support is my family. We are so tight-knit, we are so close. My wife and my son are my world, and I couldn't imagine being away from them for 8 weeks. But in the same token, I couldn't imagine affecting them negatively more than I already had to that point. And I couldn't see a way out. I legitimately could not see a future for myself. So I thought, let's give it a crack. Holy shit, was that the best decision I've ever made for myself. I've made a few bloody awesome decisions in my life. Moving out of home, marrying Jude, becoming a father. And that one has allowed all of my other amazing things in my world to continue. I can't tell you that 8 weeks was easy. It was fucking hard. It was really, really hard. I had to own my shit. I had to go through significant changes that no one was forcing me to go through, but I was choosing to go through. And it was during my time there that I realised I had actually been my own worst enemy without realising it. I kind of had this misconception that with mental health help, you just talk to someone and it feels better and then you're done and it's great. Or you take some medication and it feels better and you're done and it's great. No. That's not how it worked for me anyway. I actually had to actively participate in my own well-being. And I found that really hard. It's challenging, right? Because generally when you're depressed or anxious or dealing with mental health issues, you don't want to participate in much, let alone have the energy to participate in much. And so I had to work against my own self. Tell you what, I was pretty good at being sad, and I still am. I can't tell you that those neural pathways aren't strong. They are. I've no qualms in saying that place saved my life. And it was there I was fortunate enough to meet my very first mental health peer workers. Didn't know that having an illness, a mental illness, could qualify you for a job. Something I saw my whole life as a deficit was flipped on its head and was actually a requisite, a qualification for this career. And these people were helpful. They knew what it was like to feel like shit. They knew what it was like to access services. They'd been in inpatient units themselves. They knew what it was like to have to rely on medication. After I found out that mental health peer work was a thing, I thought, wow, one day I hope I'm well enough to be able to do that. Cruised on for a couple of years, and a position came up in town. So I thought, well, what's the worst that could happen? Interview experience? I'll toss my hat in the ring and see what's what. I was offered the position, and it was the stepping stone into my career now. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. I loved letting you in more. Until next time, keep the shiny side up. See ya.